How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Is It a Buy, where we talk about stocks and try to determine if they are worth a buy or maybe a pass. My name is Corey. I'd just like to preface the video by saying I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who likes to talk about stocks. So please take what I say with a grain of salt. All right, guys, let's go ahead and talk about good old AMC. I guess I was looking at the stock for the wrong day because I thought we closed over 40 today, but I guess that was yesterday. It's been just work has been absolutely crazy for me. And I am obviously very confused. So over $40, nice. We'll take what we can get. But let's go ahead and talk about what's going on in the day. We'll say, well, actually, let's say hi to the chat. I see you guys are going hard over here. So let me say hi really quick. Lee, yo, welcome. Dog, welcome back. Corey, thank you very much. Very happy to be here. Weekend, you know, it was the weekend, and then Monday I couldn't hop on. I was at work super late, and I just wasn't able to hop on. So it sucks, but it is what it is. Things are kind of starting to settle, but I could have been there for hours today and just like missed today, but I just couldn't do it to you guys. I was like, oh, I gotta get on the freaking stream. I was losing my mind, but definitely happy to be back today. So Bambino A, welcome. Diane, hello. Let's see, platform, hello everyone. Yasser here from Egypt. What's up, Yasser? Welcome. Lee, tomorrow should be green, hoping that it'll be green for sure, fingers crossed. Diane says buying a car is a horrible experience. Yeah, I mean, you know, well, I've never really gone through the car buying experience. I usually find my cars on, I mean, you wouldn't believe where I find my cars, but you know what, it works for me. I find them like on, I mean, the weirdest places, like, yeah, the weirdest places. That's a story for another time, but we'll talk about it another time. Let's see. Eric, dope, we're not over 40. Right. Yes, that was my mistake, but that's all right. Diane, it was so bad you walked out of trying to get your car. Jeez. Soon you'll be able to pay cash for that car. Dog, I am hoping to pay cash for a car as well. Very much hoping to pay cash for a car very soon, and you know, I'm patiently waiting, and I can be very patient. I'm more than happy to wait. I think it'll be worth it at the end of the day. So yeah. Bought my last two from him through an auction. Yeah, I've got cars through auctions before. More so at the time, for that time frame in my life, I was like in high school or whatever, so my parents like went to the auction. I was fortunate enough, and they went ahead and they got me a car from the auction. It was crazy. We all got cars from the auction. It was like, even my mom got a car from the auction. I mean, here's the deal, they weren't like special cars or anything like that, but yeah, we've done like auction cars before, and you know, knock on wood, it was actually wasn't that bad. David, hello. David is in the Chicago area right now at the ICU in Libertyville. Oh, I hope you're okay, David. My brother was in a bad accident over the weekend. We were with him waiting to see you. Oh my gosh, David, I am so sorry to hear that. No way. Dang. David, I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope your brother is okay. Honestly, I have two brothers, and I can't even imagine what you must be going through, because there's something about brothers, you know. Even while I even love watching brother movies, like Lawless with Shia LaBeouf, and he had the two brothers, and just, you know, Three Ninjas and stuff. I mean, we always watch those brother movies, and brothers, it's a weird little cool little bond that brothers have. I don't know how to explain it, but hey, I really hope everything works out, David. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and continue. Paul, hey dudes, what's happening? What's up, Paul? Welcome. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the stock. Hey, what's up, Plethora? What's up, dude? Did the Riverwalk your essay a week ago? Did the Riverwalk? Oh, no way. That's pretty cool. Yeah, man, everybody comes and does the Riverwalk. Everyone's been on the Riverwalk. It's like, oh my gosh, people don't even want to go there anymore, you know. It's so funny, but I hope you enjoyed it. It's pretty interesting to go. Like the first few times is pretty cool. Me personally, I really don't get too tired of it. I mean, I can do the same thing over and over again, and I'm perfectly happy. I'm easy to please, but yeah, a lot of people usually get pretty sick of it. I'm intrigued to hear where Corey gets cars now. Bambino, it's really nothing special. Auctions. I mean, I've got it through, like, you know, just a friend of a friend, just kind of off the street. Paid like for my truck, for example, I paid like $1,100 for it. just like crazy weird deals. Like my last car, I paid like $1,500 for it, and I just paid very cheap for cars, and they're not even necessarily bad cars. I mean, my truck's lasted over 8 years or 7 years, whatever it is so far. It's like I just hit the 200,000 mile mark. And it's been worth it. Yeah, I've had to do a few maintenance, but it's better than paying $200 every single, $300 every single month. It's definitely been well worth it over the course of this time, right? Well worth it. So yeah, but okay, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on with AMC. AMC did end the day around $38.01, down 5.66% from yesterday. So yesterday was the day we closed over 40. I was absolutely confused whenever I made the title of this video, so I apologize, the title of the stream. So I do apologize about that, but I am optimistic for the future. Hopefully tomorrow will be the over 40 day, and it'll just hold true. All right. Currently in the after hours, we are down just a tad. We are around $37.85, down 0.47% in the day. So as you can see here, more so consolidating, around these like little areas. I think we're trying to find our bearings here and seeing what's happening. Either way, I really don't along the way, yeah, just explain that. But over 40, whereas the 40, 40 was a mistake with my smooth brain. Numbers are hard, so I messed that up, so I apologize. But 40 was yesterday, so we did, I believe yesterday we closed over 40. Today we did not close over 40, so that was my mistake. But either way, I do I'm okay with where we are, right? And I will be okay. It doesn't feel the greatest, right? When I liked it much better whenever we were consolidating around $50-$60. It was much better, felt great. But either way, even being down here, just knowing what's going on, knowing the all right, David, we'll catch you in a sec, my friend. Knowing where we are, right, and where I believe where we are with what's going on with any kind of manipulation, any kind of hedge funds, if they've covered, if they haven't covered, anything like that, right? I feel like I know where we are, and I'm super comfortable holding where we are currently. It doesn't, does it feel like the greatest thing I've ever had in my life? No, $60 felt pretty great. But even knowing that, like, there's just personally me just believing that I think that there's going to be a time where the stock runs again is enough for me to hold very easily. I'm definitely extremely comfortable holding this and seeing which way it plays. Yeah. So, and we'll talk about why I feel that way, and we'll go into the Ortex data. As you guys know, I love taking a look at it. So yeah. Great point. Diamond backhand with a fantastic. Oh, Diamond got the gold horns over here for the membership. I love it. Very cool. So Diamond says, Corey, trend line heading upward. You're right. I noticed this as well. I didn't want to draw this trend line because I have these over here, but I am going to draw it because you're 100% right. We are setting higher lows, right? And if we set this trend line over here, let me see if I can get a trend line going. Something about here, we could say. We can see we are setting these higher lows in this trend line. It's looking fantastic, and I'm hoping that we continue to set these higher lows and we bounce back up to the 40s, 50s, and then back to the 60s and setting new highs in the 70s, right? I think it's fantastic, right? We're going to go over the Ortex data in just a second. I want to take a look at a few other stocks, and then we'll go into all that Ortex data, all the good stuff, right? Let's see what Lee says. Lee says, so would it be better to hold my shares in Webull or switch my Webull account to Fidelity? Lee, of course, as you know, I can't really tell you to do any of this good stuff, but me personally, I really don't hold many shares. Like the bulk of my account is in Fidelity. I do have shares in Webull and stuff, and realistically, this isn't my primary account, obviously, but I do like having some money in here, just doing some trades. It's so much easier to use. I can show it on stream and stuff. Like I do like Webull, but from what it seems, the payment for order flow and all the stuff with the dark pools that we've been discovering, it seems like Fidelity is kind of the way to go to avoid those kinds of issues. I'm not sure if I can't recall if we had settings that we could alter in Webull so that they are not doing for payment for order flow. I don't think we can do that, but I think what we can do is restrict share lending, right? As we know, whenever you purchase shares in these brokerages, yeah, you own the share in Webull, but Webull, they lend out those shares, and a lot of brokerages do this. They lend out your shares to institutions who are going to short the stock, and it really is the most mind-boggling thing ever how they do that, and how it's ridiculous. It's just insane. So I personally have switched, like I said, the majority of my funds to Fidelity for those reasons. And on top of that, Webull, I can't sugarcoat it. It's facts. Webull did halt trading, although I appreciate the way they handled it better. They did halt trading. So, hopefully that helps you a little bit. People, and believe it or not, there's still people who have not transferred out of Robinhood who are like, I don't want to miss the squeeze. I don't want to miss the squeeze. And honestly, at this point, if you think that you're going to miss a squeeze by transferring and it takes like 2 days to transfer, then I can't help. I can't help you. Like I feel bad. Like I'm concerned for what might happen, but I really hope the best, honestly. But I just can't. I just can't. So yeah. So I've been seeing this term. I don't understand what illiquid is. I see Lewis right here saying, if we keep having the volume each day, GME will be illiquid by Monday. What does illiquid mean? Like you can't trade it or won't be able to be tradable, or what does that mean? What was the volume for today on AMC? Right here, 55.21 million. So kind of on average, like what we've been seeing with the super low volume days. This is pretty low volume for how AMC typically trades. So GameStop, I don't really know what their average volume has been. 1.21 million. I feel like that's kind of average for like how they trade. If we look at the day candles, we'll zoom in here a little bit and we can see. So, one high volume day looks like a 3 million volume day. Yeah, 1 to 3 million seems kind of, on the lower end. Here's a 15 million, 22 million. Man, this is a lot of trades. Jeez. But yeah, so it looks like, 1.1. That is crazy how that volume is going super low. Pulse, welcome. Bobby, that person is, I have no, that I don't even want that person's name in the chat, to be honest. That person is literally a clout chaser. Literally was in the chat, like promoting their stream, like trying to argue with me. Was in my, like, that person is not nobody. Low volume, hard to sell. Not sure about that. You really don't know GME. All right. Let's take a look. So let's go to the 1 month. Let's go ahead and go to AMC. We'll look at the 1 days over here. So has it really been that high of that volume? So let's see, 55 million, 97 million, 80. Let's see. Yeah, 57 million. So I knew we had something around here before. So 57 million was 7.9. So, earlier in the month, 62 million was, toward on the 6th of this month, 57 again on the 1st, 58. So yeah, I mean, man, this is 55 seems to be really the lowest. Did I see a 53 in here somewhere? 60, 53. Here we go. Wow, 53 million was over. Yep, 521. So super small, but yeah, pretty interesting for the volume. I mean, extremely low volume. I think we need that volume to pick back up, and once that volume picks back up, it's gonna look real good. Robert Carter says bullish reversal coming for AMC. I hope so. I'm really looking for a bullish reversal here. I'd love to see it pick back up and to where we're consolidating within these areas. Jose says, have you managed to figure out what creates days with high volume? It just seems random to me. I mean, it seems kind of random, but realistically, you know, it's just gonna. It is going to be semi-random. I mean, sometimes there's not going to be a catalyst, and you know, people are just going to rally and be super excited, or maybe there is I don't know, maybe there's a subliminal catalyst that kind of makes people rally and get excited. But I noticed that, you know, it's a lot easier to see the high volume around here, right? So we can see whenever it starts to pick up. So we can see it starts to pick up here, and then as it has a run, you know, one day it has a random run or has a run for some kind of news or anything like that, right? So it runs. So this is like it went from 53 million, right, all the way to 111 million, and 111 million, 206, 375, 6, you know what I mean? Like it just continues to go up and up and up, or at least have high volume. And I notice on high volume days, you know, the stock is typically green. It goes up. It goes up pretty well. Umber B says fear of market correction. Umber, I think we already had our market correction, right? If we take a look over at, let's see, if we take a look over here, hold on, I see something in the chat. Okay, so I think we already had our kind of what was the thing of market correction. I think we already had our market correction a little bit, and I've noticed a lot of stocks are pretty similar. A great example is if you look at Carnival, right? If we look at Carnival, we'll look at the 6 month or something like that, right? Let's go to the 1 year. Sure. Okay. We can see that a lot of stocks, they were running up over here at the beginning of the year, January, February, and they were trading pretty high, and they've all retraced recently. So we'll go here. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Marin is. Let's see if BlackBerry looks kind of similar. So this one ran kind of up, kind of retraced. Not the best example that I can find, but let's see, you know, kind of ran up and kind of been retracing more recently, but what is this? Oh, I'm still in the day candles. Okay, that's the problem here. 1 day, we'll look at the 6 month. Either way, we can see that a lot of stocks have retraced recently. I feel like Carnival is a pretty good way to look at it. And you can see they've just kind of been retracing. A lot of clients have Umio. Corey, watching for months, but I've been watching it longer. Marantz is the best channel for stock all day long. You know, Yumi, if you feel that way, that's perfectly fine. I don't mind in the least bit. He was so disrespectful to Trey's trades, and saying that Trey like is a failed military man, like failed this and that. And honestly, I have no sympathy. I mean, I mean, like whatever you want to do, Yumi, is perfectly fine. But I'm not going to stand for. Like Trey's biggest dream was to like hop on, like he just wanted to be in the military. Like he wanted to, like his dad, like his old man and stuff. He wanted to be in the military. I'm sure it's like breaks his heart that he's going to be most likely be, what is the word? He's gonna be like kicked out because of his heart issues and stuff. And that person that you're talking about was saying he was a failed like military person. He couldn't make it. He couldn't do it or whatever. Like it was the most disrespectful thing I've probably ever seen. And that person literally just goes on to like create waves and stuff. Literally, I would compare this person to what's his name? Godpill. That's who I would compare. Not as extreme, but the similar kind of concept, the similar kind of like feelings about that person. And so if you want to go support that person, you have my go enjoy support that medical discharge. Yeah, he's gonna be medically discharged, like, and for the things that person said about Trey was the most so disrespectful. I mean, yeah, it's really messed up. So I don't support that person. And if you want to support that person, you're more than welcome to. I mean, you can support whoever you'd like. So feel free and do that. No hard feelings. No hard feelings. But yeah, that person is done with me. I'm done with that person. What's up, Angela? But thank you for your input, Yumi. So let's go and continue over here. I see people saying, the correction hasn't happened. I mean, realistically, yeah, the correction probably, I see a lot of people thinking a correction is going to happen. And, it's really kind of difficult to say because, I guess with some of them, a profile soldier, I'm aware. Yeah. So, if you support, him, that, I mean, again, I don't mind at all. Like I can respect your decision. You can respect my decision and we can move on. It's all good. And yeah, Moran's called AMC. Yeah, he would come in on my chat and he would say, hey, this is like a scheme. It's not real. Like, you guys are all going to lose your money. You're going to go broke. And this was at $10. And look at us now. So he said, he's a big GME person. I respect the GME people. I love GME people. Like, no, ape don't fight ape. And it's all good. But I just don't. I'm not about that life. But, it's all good. Like, it's all good. No worries at all. No hard feelings, truly. That person no longer comes in the chat for their own reasons. I have not banned them, but it's all good. So, so it's really hard to say what's going to happen with the possible correction, right? I think that, no one really knows. People think there's going to be a correction. I think I saw that the what is it called? The Buffett indicator, the Warren Buffett indicator is basically set up. The last time it was as high as it is currently, was it during the .com bubble. So it's probably, so based on that, I mean, it's really not looking too good. However, I think that with this Delta variant, whether it is going to correct or if there's going to be a correction or if it's just going to retrace because of the Delta variant, people just pulling out or getting scared or thinking it's going to get crazy. I mean, it's just really not, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. And so I see actually along the way saying, is CCL about, a buy? CCL a buy. So I do really like Carnival Cruise Line here. I feel like Carnival Cruise Line is like, it was sitting pretty well, right? It was sitting over here. It looks like I don't know if you want to count this as the lowest, 23, but realistically on average, more recently, I mean, this was in the past, we'll call it 6 months, right? In the past 6 months, it's been trading around, we'll call it $27, sure, okay? And around $27 here, it finally bounced, right? It finally just retraced pretty harshly. And I think this is partially, whether this was a correction or whether this was the Delta variant news, or I think they had a little scare on one of the cruise lines because someone on board was COVID, tested positive for COVID. And remember the protocol, I think it's on all the cruise lines, but, the protocol is if you test positive, if anyone tests positive on the cruise line, you guys cruise is over, heading to port and sitting there. You're just sitting at port waiting. You're not quarantined. And so I actually watched a YouTube video. There are people who talk about just cruise lines. Like that's what all they talk about, not stocks about cruise lines, not anything. They just talk about what is going on in cruise lines. And I've actually been watching a few of the channels because I think it's super interesting. Like I think it's very, very, it's pretty cool. I feel like this could be a cool strategy to kind of pick your place. For example, you find someone who loves talking about electric vehicles, right? Not electric vehicle stocks, but not necessarily electric vehicle stocks, but just electric vehicles where, you can make your own decisions. Then that could be a great channel to help look for plays, right? So for example, if they were to say, hey, Lucid is coming out with they're actually, they scrapped their old model. They're coming out with a brand new model that is going to be a little bit better than the Tesla. They've actually been testing it for 5 years or whatever they're going to say. And, you could say, okay, well, maybe this is a time to get into Lucid because when this thing comes out, it's going to be great. Or, whenever the news drops or whenever the people get excited. I mean, I don't know what it would be, but, that might be a strategy for finding these kinds of plays. But I see Diamond here saying I'm not touching CCL Delta. Very may wait. Very may cause more dips. Very much may cause more dips. Yeah, I'm sure CCL Delta. But either way, if you were to just buy shares, for example, although I would love to buy options, just keep in mind cruise lines are pretty risky right now. They're very risky actually, because if that Delta variant somehow manages to get like another lockdown or something like that, I really don't think we'll have another lockdown, to be honest. But if for any reason there is a lockdown, then these stocks are going to be heavily discounted, and I hope that they'll be able to survive, right? If they don't actually survive, then you're out of luck. But if they dip and they do survive, then that'd be great. Currently, they've been struggling for this whole time. I'm actually pretty surprised, and maybe I would have missed it, but I'm actually pretty surprised that none of the cruise lines have gone bankrupt, or not to my knowledge, at least. I don't think there was a buyout. I'm not sure if there was even a bailout, honestly, for any of the cruise lines. They seem to just have survived. I'm not sure if they got some kind of bad loans or crazy loans from, some shark entity who's just trying to like prey on them. It's a very real possibility. But if that didn't happen, I mean, I do like cruise lines long term. We can see how they were trading previously. We can look at them over 5 years, right? Over 5 years, let's say we're trading pre-COVID, right? Pre-COVID, they were trading, we'll call an average, we'll bring it down just a little bit for an average. We'll call it $45, right? So let's say they've been trading around $45. Currently, they're at $22.80, right? $22.70 in the after hours. And I feel like this is a fantastic opportunity to get in, right? And again, you don't have to play it for a short amount of time. This is more of a longer play, but longer play, if COVID were to be just eradicated, right, virtually overnight, then I mean, imagine how the stock would just run, right? This stock, people would go on cruises, they wouldn't have to worry about all this stuff. There's a bunch of different things, or maybe if vaccines were mandatory. In watching those videos, I think Carnival might be suing, or somebody or maybe it's Royal Caribbean might be suing Florida because they were forcing people to either have a mask or not have a mask. There's a bunch of interesting things going on. So I would recommend, I'm not sure, Colton, if anyone gave the cruise lines money or what happened there, but yeah, so a lot of interesting things going on with cruise lines. This kind of play, and here's the deal: these risky plays I like. People ask me, "Oh, Corey, how did you get into AMC at $2?" Well, I freaking took a risk. Like, it was extremely risky, and I went heavy on an extreme risk, and it paid out. And that's whenever I look at this, I see not a similar setup, but I see a possible setup of what could be happening. And because whenever the news comes out, when and if the news comes out saying, hey, CCL has announced they are not going bankrupt, they have enough money to sustain for 5 years, right? Then that stock will just skyrocket, similar to what happened with AMC. AMC got the loan, and the stock went from $2 to $4 and just kept running, and people got excited and hopped in. But a lot of potential. Yeah, Bambino says it right here. Potential is definitely there. I'd be curious to see their cash reserves and liabilities previously compared to now. Right. Which I'm sure it's not looking good at all. But again, that's where the risk and the reward comes from. All right. Okay, so that's, a lot going about that. I can go on about this all day. I really do like cruise lines. There's a lot of plays that I'm pretty bullish on, but we just have to take it one day at a time, one play at a time. And realistically, I feel like my money's personally tied up in AMC. But if anybody has money to play, and if that's something they're interested in, then make your own financial decisions, is what I'll say. Let me catch up on the chat, and then I want to go over to the tops of the days and the Ortex data finally. I haven't talked about Ortex yet. Jose says this is a good time to accumulate if you've been running out of dry powder and have conviction. AMC is going nowhere, and I doubt it will fall much lower. I don't know if you're saying to hop into AMC or somewhere else, but I like the stock. Tons of support in the low 30s. I doubt we'll have another lockdown. I mean, yeah, I also doubt that we'll have another lockdown. Realistically, I mean, just realistically, I doubt it'll happen. Dividend and bond ETFs have been running for the past few weeks now. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Where do they come from? All right, so let's go ahead and hop over to Ortex really quick. Okay, so good old Ortex. Ortex data is kind of been in a weird fluctuation, kind of hovering around the same area. It seems, well, I say that, but realistically, it seems to kind of keep on calibrating, right? So, for example, the shares on loan, it was at like 100 million, right? And then it dropped to 90 million, and then it's been climbing again, right? Same thing with the utilization. It was at 90, and then it dropped to, I think, like 80 something. And, oh, actually, we can see what it had dropped to more recently. If I go ahead and do the utilization, we can see where it bounced to, and we can see, well, it's kind of been fluctuating all over the place, but either way, it kind of like drops, and sometimes it'll drop for no reason. Like this, there's no reason. While the stock is going down, it should really be going up. There's really no reason for it to drop the way it did. I guess it covered just a little bit, but either way, the fact that these keep dropping and then they rise rapidly is, to me, is a pretty clear indication, right? Is a clear indicator that this is continuing to, I mean, it's heavily shorted, right? The stock is heavily shorted, and they are continuing to short the stock. And we can see that whenever we look at, I mean, you know, another indicator I like to look at is the short interest, right? The short interest keeps on going up, right? But it does keep, I call it calibrating. I mean, I'm not sure if it actually is calibrating, but it seems to be, because whenever the short interest drops down again, there's not always necessarily a catalyst. For example, it should be if the stock runs, the short interest goes down, and here we can see the stock didn't really run here, and then the short interest still went down. So it seemed like there may have been some kind of calibration, especially here. We can see here that whenever it went from even to from $13 to $18, the stock was kind of consolidating. Now maybe it was headed downward a little bit, so they heavily shorted it and the short interest went up, but it's kind of tricky to see exactly what happened with the short interest in here. But either way, I mean, regardless, what this tells me here is the shorts haven't covered, and the short interest is continuing to increase, the utilization, shares on loan, all that good stuff. And that tells me that, you know, they haven't covered. They're going to have to purchase these stocks eventually, because it costs them to hold. And I'm sure they don't like holding it whenever it costs them this much money. Okay, so I'm yes, and Bambino says percent of the market. So technically, so it's technically only a baseline of the true representation, not including naked shorts or synthetic shares. This is true. So remember, these top numbers are 85% of the exchanges, the market, and these numbers over here, today's changes, are about, I think it's 65% of the exchanges, right? And just keep that information in mind, because I think that is the market. Keep that in mind whenever you're looking at these numbers. And remember, these do not include naked shorts, synthetic shares, anything like that. This is just the base data, or the data that's publicly available, right? Dark pools, all that crazy stuff, not included. There you go. I like the way Robert thinks about it. Robert says, I don't believe info from Ortex. I just see it as an overall trend. And Robert, yeah, that is how I try to look at it. The reason why is because, you know, we know that the data can just be manipulated, right? That's what most apes believe is happening right now in the stock market. We believe that there's some kind of manipulation happening. And the manipulation doesn't just stop at just the stocks, right? It continues to go in here, payment for order flow, and that's where the dark pools go. And even everybody was looking at Fintel, right? Everyone was getting subscriptions to Fintel and look at that info, and all of a sudden the Fintel information just didn't make any sense, right? And we learned that it was just you know, whether they were manipulating and they weren't reporting it correctly, and just all this corruption in all of the manipulation is just the word to use. I know I keep saying it, but realistically, that's what it is. And so I do believe that they can probably figure out, especially since all the hedge funds knew, the institutions knew we were looking at Fintel. Now they know we're all looking at Ortex, and them knowing that we're looking at Ortex it says more, who knows what they can do with that information, right? Who knows what they can do with this Ortex information to hide it or do something crazy. William says, do you think it will take the next couple weeks or a few months for them to cover their shorts? William, gosh, this is the hardest question to answer that if anyone gives you a solid answer for, no one knows. Okay. So let's see. Do you think it will take a couple weeks or a few months for them to cover the shorts? So it depends on how it goes. If it continues on its current trajectory, where it just goes up a little bit, consolidates, bounces, goes up a little bit, it could take a long time, months, maybe a year. It could take I saw somebody use the term, I think LOAS, longest of all short squeezes, something weird like that. But what's funny is, so the LOAS, so yeah, it could take the longest, but so that's the long way it could happen, right? But my favorite way, and the way that most apes would rather it go, for multiple reasons, is the margin call method, right? The margin call way. And whenever the hedge funds have to cover via margin calls, right? And so remember, theoretically, what would happen is, the stock runs up one day or whatever's going to happen. And remember, the hedge funds do have, if they get margin called, they do have X amount of time to add extra money funds to their account, and they're not going to be margin called, right? That's how margin calls work. If you've ever traded on margin, and let's say you go long on a stock and it goes down, they say, hey, you have to fulfill your margin requirements, and so you need to deposit X amount of money. And for me, I've traded on margin before. Sometimes it was $5-10 or whatever. Another time I think it was like $500, and I was like, holy crap, this sucks. But if it does happen the margin call way, that would be great. If they can't fulfill their margin call requirements, or if the DTCC or whoever says, hey, you guys are not trading right, you guys are doing weird, sketchy stuff, and I don't know why they would force them to margin call at that point. Maybe it's some kind of a DTCC rule, or who knows. Well, I guess if they fail some of the margin call, there are different tests that they're doing. I can't remember the exact test, so I'd rather not kind of fumble through it, but essentially there's a test that says, hey, if you fail our test of where if you fail the test, you're too risky, you're in a bad spot, we'll just take you and we'll take control of your funds or whatever, and we'll just start covering, right? And so in a perfect world, the hedge funds, the hedge funds positions would be taken over by the DTCC, NSCC, all of this whole entity over here, right? And basically they would just start buying the ask, right? And so in a margin call, they would just say buy until they purchase all the shares that they need to purchase, right? And people are going to say, and the question is, though, the $1 million question is literally the $1 million question is, how many shares are they going to have to buy? And the running theory currently, I think, is like 5 times the float of AMC, right? So 2.5 billion shares to be purchased. And yes, so that's kind of the running theory would happen. So I would personally love to see margin calls, because that would ensure that the stock is probably going to have the maximum rise. But let's put it this way. If we go slowly, let's say we go slowly, we go to 100, 150. Okay, we're at 150. No one's selling. Apes are obviously diamond handed, holding strong. Now, if the apes continue to hold around 150 and then they get margin called, it's just going to run from 150, right? So I really don't mind how long it takes, anything like that. And the DTCC, NSCC, all these institutions continue to, the entities continue to release new filings, right? New rules, new filings. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at them really quick. And let's see if there are any new filings. I haven't really been keeping up too well with these filings, but man, there's a bunch of new ones over here. Let's see. establish the securities financing transaction clearing service and make other changes. That sounds interesting. Okay, provide settlement services for transactions entered into under the proposed securities financing transaction clearing service of the NSCC. Provide settlement securities for transactions entered into under the proposed securities financing transaction. My goodness, that is a mouthful. We'll take a look at this one really quick. Remove ID net transactions from the required fund deposit calculations and make other rule changes to the rules. My goodness. Okay, let's see if there's a summary for this or something here really quick. 63 pages. I'm in the rules. I'm not seeing anything here. I'm trying to take a look and see if there's anything here. Those all three go together. It's a repo, reverse repo for the NSCC. See, there we go. Thank you. Thank you, Abra. And so as we can see here, like, again, what have the apes been talking about? Reverse repos, dark pools, like all of these things that the apes keep on talking about. The three others are 369 pages, no quick summary. It's a massive change. Hey, thank you so much for letting us know. And realistically, you could probably go to the subreddit and kind of look for these changes and stuff. But yeah, you can see all these different things. So what I would say here, I mean, you know, these rules, reverse repo, reverse repo, I mean, these are all directly impacting, especially all these more recent filings. The whole time they've been following all these rules. They seem to be very, very much in line with what is going on with the squeeze, GameStop, AMC, you know, all of these heavily shorted stocks and the potential manipulation in the market and what they're going to do if there is a thank you, Diane. And what they're going to do if there is in the event of someone gets margin called, someone gets kicked out of here because loses their membership status because they are not complying with the rules, who gets to auction in their shares, their positions, so much stuff. It doesn't end. It does not end at all. So yeah, good stuff here. Let me see this person. Bobby, hi there. First time to the channel. Welcome, Bobby. Where do you see AMC going from now to Friday? Okay, well, I would be very careful. Sounds like you're trying to get a sneak peek for some kind of options play, right? And I would just be extremely careful with any kind of options play that you may want to do. If you are looking for options, just keep in mind they are extremely risky, and make sure you're managing your own risk and not just listening to what people say. If you are looking for an option, I would recommend looking into potentially the covered stock option, just because if you were to buy a regular single option here, let's say you thought it was going to hit by Friday. I don't know if you thought it was going to hit. Well, let's just do it close. I like to play pretty close to the end of money. Let's say $41. I mean, your break even here. Oh, okay, $41.96. So not too bad here. But if you were to play it a little bit further out, like to September or something, and get it pretty close to being in the money, instead of your, even though your strike is $39, your break even is $46.70. So make sure you're always taking a look at the break evens and making sure you're in a good spot to be in the money. Now, if you wanted to look at options for like this Friday or something, I personally just like to play them super close to being in the money. But even then, if you got it at $39 here, the break even is $40.53, which isn't so bad. It could be pretty good. Diamond $40 for, oh gosh, 2023. Just for fun, I'm going to take a look at this really quick. The $40 one. So it's going to cost you $2,000, and your break even is $60.35. Yikes. Very, very scary. All right, so yeah, few different ways you can play this. I mean, here's the deal: no one can really tell you where it's going to go. I would personally be looking for different kinds of breakouts. So I would love to see a breakout over $40. I think a solid breakout over $40 would be fantastic for Friday, considering it's Tuesday. and you could look for that. But if you see a break over this ascending level of support, then I would be extremely careful. I would it would be not be looking good, I'll say, because if it drops under here, you're going to be looking for a bounce around $34, and if it doesn't get that bounce and it drops through, you're going to be looking for another bounce around $31. So I see conviction. Yeah, Diamond, you really need some conviction for that. So just keep that in mind. Realistically, if you see a run over 40, hopefully we'll continue to run through and get a run over 45, but it'd be a little tricky. So I just kind of play it by ear and use your best judgment. I really can't tell you where to buy, how to buy it, but hopefully that technical analysis helps you make a decision. I wonder if we're going to get like a little squeeze down into here and see if it runs through, but would you sell for a Klondike bar? Absolutely not. A freaking Klondike bar? Let's see. Umber Bees, forgive me for the silly question. 3 months new to the market, but are most people here in AMC and GME only? Umber, I would say a lot of people here are in AMC and GameStop, just primarily, right? Personally, I'm like 90% in AMC, 5% in, my math is not 90% AMC, 85% AMC, 10% GameStop. I'm mostly in AMC, got some GameStop, and I'm in a few other small plays, like long-term plays. And realistically, I'm more so stuck in bad options that I chose, and that's why I haven't sold. And I'd rather just hold them rather than sell for like 90%, down 90% or whatever. It doesn't really make sense for me to kind of sell those. But yeah, so we'll see how those options end. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people here are in AMC and GameStop, and realistically, I'm here to, a lot of people want to make money, and I personally feel like this is for me personally, this is a great way for me to make money. I think it's worth it, but we'll have to see. Sea Turtle says, my shares balance to $44 per share. Am I going to lose or break even, or am I actually going to see some profit? Turtle, you are in a very, very, I'll put it this way. Turtle, we've all been where you were, right? The only difference between us and you is we got in, and when I say we, I mean a lot of the apes in the channel got in. Probably we've been talking about it since freaking March in this channel, right? And so in March, where were we? I mean, we were all over the place. We were around, oh my gosh, I keep touching all of these. March, we were from between $8 and $14. Let's call it an average of $10. A lot of people in here got in around $10. And remember, whenever you buy in, everyone buys in at the same spot. You buy in right here, and you don't know which way it's going to go. You just hope that you got in at a good place, and at the end of the day, at the end of your trade, whenever you decide to sell, you hope that it's higher than when you got in, right? That's everyone's goal. And I think that, I'll just say, we've all been where you are. But we were very lucky in the fact that we got in at $10. So we're all sitting, most of us, I would say, hopefully, are sitting pretty. We're sitting pretty. But we've all been where you were. And you know what? The people who bought, remember, there were some people who bought in back here at $14. And you know what? Imagine buying in. Oh my gosh. Wait, what is happening? Imagine buying in at $14 right here. And then the stock tumbles all the way down to, $8, and we'll call it $9, sure. So you got in almost at $15, and the stock goes to like $9. Imagine how these people are feeling, completely panicked the whole time. But you know what? If they diamond handed through that, then look where they are today at $14. Don't you wish you would have bought in at $14? People are feeling very happy that they did buy in there. And that's why, that's one of the reasons I freaking love this play so much. I mean, I feel, and I'll put it this way, I've added to my shares at $50, $60. I mean, I don't know the highest share that I've purchased, but probably around $60 I added in my position, and I averaged up. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be so freaking worth it personally. But what you need to do for yourself, though, I always say this, because it's true, is make sure you're taking care of yourself, your family, your bills, and make sure you're taking care of yourself and managing your own risk, because if you're the only one who knows your situation, and don't put yourself in a position to lose that money if you can't lose it. There's a difference between, and usually I say this about other stocks, but I'll just say it to you. There's a difference between, diamond handing and, holding on to a dead cat when you can't, so yeah. Sea Turtle says, how long do we hold until it goes up like that again? See, again, such a fair question, right? Fair question. I wish I had a good answer for you, but realistically, we don't know. Imagine the people who bought right here, right? They bought around in January 27th. Imagine if you bought it $15, $16. Let's say 16. That's a perfect number, right? So you bought at $16. Okay. Or, you know what, we'll do 18. Okay, let's say you bought at $18, right? So you got it at 18, it kind of drops all the way down to, $5, $6, whatever again. And then it only hits 18 one more time. And then that was your time to either get out or diamond hand. So you got it at $18. And now look, these people who were in here had to hold at $18 for all this time. Look how far 18 was. No 18 from January all the way until March, for all that time. January, February, March, April, May. No, this is May. Sorry. All the way until May. They held for 5 months, just hoping that they would see $18 one day, right? And they finally saw $18, and some people either got out or they held all the way up, right? It's just a matter of perspective, because I remember when this was the chart. This is the chart we're looking at right here. And we're like, oh my gosh, and then we go all these different ways, but we never knew what was going to happen. We felt like we knew what was going to happen, but no one truly knows. And so it's all about conviction. And people have been holding. I've been holding since I got very lucky. So imagine how easy it is for me to hold. I've been holding back here, $2. But there are people who bought in at $20, and just having to wait and make a decision. And that decision is a hard one, but for literally every single person who bought the stock, it's literally paid out if you bought in before June. For literally every single person who bought in before June, it has literally paid off and they're profitable. The question is are we going to get there again? And where will your average be when and if it does that? Me personally, I'm very optimistic and bullish, and I look at the Ortex data, and that helps me feel that way about what's going on. But I think it's I like it, but it is hard. And I see Turtle says, yeah, I'm definitely gonna hold. It's just that the waiting game that's hard. The waiting game is so dang hard. But I personally feel like people are gonna wish they bought this stock at $50, right? I that's just how I personally feel. Imagine GameStop, right? GameStop was, they were at $2, $3 in 2020. Look at them now. Imagine it. Don't you think people wish, they would have bought GameStop back at $100? Heck yeah, I wish I would have bought GameStop at $100, 100%. But not everybody has, and I think it's just a matter of when you got in. And there are people holding at 400. I saw somebody at 483 the other day. They've been posting them on the Super Stonk subreddit. 483, and they're still holding strong. It's crazy. Ape help ape. Yes, thank you, Diamond. Ape no hurt ape. So yeah, there we go. I see Jose right here. I bought at 48, and I've been averaging down. Yeah. Interested in January 3. I understand. Ape 3PO. So yeah, okay, so you're talking about theta and stuff, and yeah, I do keep in mind that whenever you purchase these options, you are fighting theta, and theta is basically, I think it's for each day the stock doesn't hit, it kind of loses its value and stuff. There's a bunch of different factors that go into here, and the stock is going to be. It's so tricky. It's so tricky because back whenever we were at around $10, and everyone was looking at the June 18th $40 strike. And the June 18th $40 strike, I was like, people think it's going to hit $40 by June 18th, and it was at $10. And people were freaking out. But you know what? It did hit, and people I bought some of those. I made so much money. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous how much. It was amazing. But yeah, so whenever you are buying options, I mean, just be aware, just be like cautious about the theta and all these different numbers, because they are things that you have to fight against. Whenever you're looking at these options. But I think that there you go. Diamond thinks about theta like time is money, and you can see how it goes down here. So yeah, Bambino's for me. I want long-term capital gains instead of short. Bambino, yes, if this goes to January, I have short-term capital gains, and I would love some short-term capital gains. Nero, hello, welcome. All right. Oh, I haven't even looked at the tops today. Let's look at the tops for the day and see what's going on over here. See if I recognize anything for the 1 day. No, nothing here. Let's look at the top losers for the 1 day. Okay, not seeing anything here that I recognize. The markets. I love long-term capital gains. Thank you, bro. I brove set. Okay, so that's that. Let's see if there are any articles over here that I'm curious about. I thought this was pretty funny right here. This one says, a closer look at stocks Kramer told his audience to go long in at the start of the year and what they're worth now. Okay. And as we can see here, I mean, Kramer just look down 72%, down 50%. Now, I don't know, this seems to be in order, but I wonder if we were to keep, if this list were to keep going, if there were any stocks that are green. There's no way every single one of his stocks are red. I mean, there's no freaking way. But yikes, 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 yikes. To be this wrong. That would not be fun. Let's see. You guys actually gonna hold 1.5 billion shares of AMC traded off exchange in 1 month. That's 300% of shares being traded in the dark pools. This is from May 2021, most recent release. Keep in mind, obviously I haven't screened this. I just found this. We'll read it really quick and we'll see. Sorry, can't. This is the SEC, I guess. So, I mean, I obviously don't have the current capacity to look into this, but yeah. Corey, all the dates on the same for this one. Let's see what the dates were for this one for the Kramer picks. Kramer, so ticker date in. I guess the date he talked about it, and no, they are different. So this one's like February, I guess February to current day. But it is just organized by the percent change. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. So yeah, I guess, but let me see, January, February, March, April. Like maybe the May, June ones haven't, or maybe this is old. I mean, I can't speak to the validity of this, but very interesting. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see if we can get one more, whether it's a meme or something good. Yeah, I would agree with this one. I mean, can someone please explain to me why currently there isn't a method for counting how many shares are owned? Don't worry, each lender knows, each lending broker knows exactly down to the single share how many they have loaned. Each hedgee knows exactly to the single share how much they have borrowed. The SEC knows exactly, if they want to, exactly how many fake synthetic shares exist. The only ones who don't know are us, retail, because if we knew those numbers, the hedgee owned media, Motley, Investor Palace, blah, blah, all these people would not be able to scare and manipulate retail investors out of their positions, right? Essentially, that is what they go on to say. And, you know, oh gosh, tinfoil hat right here, boom, flared. So do keep that in mind. But, oh my gosh, it's just wild. It's actually so wild. And this didn't help my mental at all with what's going on. Just doesn't end. It doesn't end at all. Extremely unfortunate. Papa Ape at the very top. Yes, chairman of the board. All right, I think that was everything I wanted to go over. I mean, you know, I just kind of wanted to talk about those things. I'll leave it over here on Ortex, but Corey, can you pull up the options and go to the graph? I'm gonna go to buy. Okay, yeah. So pull up the options and show the graph option when you go to buy. Yeah, so to find the graph, I mean, if you wanted to go here to July, if you want to get the $39 strike, just here on Webull, there's table and then graph. So down here, you just go to graph, and then here's the graph. You can kind of see what you would make if it hits this price by this date, right? So if by this Friday, if it hits $39 as your strike, if it hits, you know, $45, you're going to make $449 per share. Or per contract, per contract. This is what your contract is going to cost, and this is good stuff. And you can just keep playing with this. I mean, it's always fun to see if it goes here, and you can say, okay, well, if it's 153, if I'm going to put $1,000 in it, you can go here, and then you can say, okay, well, if it hits $65, I will make $14,000 on my $1,000 bet, $15,000 on my $1,000 bet, almost. So cool stuff. But yeah, so that's what I have for you guys. I just wanted to kind of go over. I'm very happy that I was finally able to stream again, hop back on. Good stuff. Looking forward to it. But I'm going to go ahead and get it wrapped up. I'm starving, ready to eat some dinner. But you guys have a fan-freaking-tastic night. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's always a good time. Nice to see everybody. David, I don't know if you're still here, but you're my thoughts, my friend, truly. And we'll follow up with you soon, all right? But you guys have a great night, all right? Peace.